dust in the universe to the waters in the womb I surf. I'm the all in all, from the atoms that exist in the sun to the atom that's in Genesis 1. I'm the all in all, from the first king that walked this globe to the last black slave they stole. I'm the all in all, every living thing you see, all of those things exist in me. I'm the all in all, from the depths of the sea to Mount Everest. Allah in the flesh, most benevolent. This physical form born from melanin. When electrical thought sparked intelligence. Ain't nothing existing I don't exist in. From the clouds in the heavens down to this skin. If you're doing the knowledge, you can follow jewels. In both cases, the basis, water molecules. Rain, sleet, snow, hailstorms come together the same way that my cells form. You don't see it yet, hard to fathom still. It's A-like to the pyramids, how my atoms build. I existed as DNA when the earth formed, and my paternal lineage is from the firstborns. Holy Quran, Bible, I'm coded there. In a fine mist, you'll miss if you don't know the square. Yeah, on all four corners they seek the G, while trying to speak on me in secrecy. I created the earth as mother and daughter. Her bones are the rocks, bodies the
68. So that was crazy back then. You know? But like I said, all I got is good memories of him. Whenever he came through, I had to take me to the store, all the candy, everything. And like I said, I'm gonna keep it real. My pops was fly, tall, you know what I'm saying? Hand to hair like a Spanish or white person. That good straight hair, everything. Which all my kids born with it, like that. Even my grandkids. So it's hereditary. I don't know that side of my family, and they the Ivories, I-V-O-R-Y. I ain't got nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, getting back to the basics, right? Those are the things that I remember while I was in Bed-Stuy. It was one crazy thing one time though. They were doing, I think, Christmas break. And when me and my mom used to go down south, you know, come back, crab meat, you know, shrimp, all that, because in McLennanville, they got a dock right there. They do shrimp and all that. Like I said, my cousins and them, man, they was wearing gold teeth down there in Charleston and all that before cats even started wearing gold teeth in New York. My cousins and them was wearing, you know, different colors in their hair. Like for real, when I go back in the woods, even now, they be cooking on the drum. They sound like Jamaicans off of Nostrand Avenue. But that's all a part of our heritage. When we came from the West Indian Islands, after, you know, we was spread it out from Liverpool, Bristol, and London, those 64 years before we hit the shores of North America. Because remember, y'all, we've been kidnapped from the shores of Africa since 1555 by Sir John Hardy Hawkins Sr. And I know y'all be like, oh, y'all 5% be talking this, that, and the third, but check this out. I'm one of the ones that study. I'm a scientist. So go into Introduction to African Civilization, written by John G. Jackson, who taught John Henry Clark, and see if that man really exists. And see if, you know what I'm saying, when him and his enslavers went into Africa, at that time, they had 3 ships, and I said it before, the good ship Jesus, the grace of God, the angel. And before they got off the ships, they used to sing a song that they said that came out the Bible, and it was called TDM, which means in the grace of God, which means that they are the Gentiles and we are the heathens. So it's justification under their so-called Christianity religion to place us in slavery. But like I said, all of those is other topics, and I could go on forever with stuff like that. So let me get back to the basics once again. So once we decided to make this pilgrimage from Bed-Stuy to East New York, I'm going to give y'all some real East New York history. Okay? Like I said, my cousins and them that was in Albany Projects, when I told them that we was moving out to East New York, they said, oh man, you moving out to Queens. And I know nowadays y'all say this, that, but back then, you know, it was different. Even when the rap records came. Manhattan make it, Brooklyn take it, you know, Queens is the rap, you know. That's what it was. But anyway, like I said, that's just records or whatever, because my uncles and them was gangsters, and I know plenty of gangsters from out there, as we call it in the nation, the desert. Matter of fact, the guards wasn't soft from no barrels. So when we first moved out there, we talking about 1968. 1968 to Cypress Hills Projects, East New York, that ended up being known as the killing ground. A body every 63 hours, and 75th when it's hot, they say shoot every 22 hours. 80s to the 90s and still hot to this day. And I'm not bragging or boasting about none of this violence or anything that I speak about in these, you know what I'm saying, videos, but I have to keep it 100% real with you. Otherwise, y'all, you know, man, we don't want to hear none of that preaching, you know, knowledge stuff. So I'll mix it up for y'all, so y'all can see the diversity. You ain't gotta just say, oh, this is what it is because I'm here and this is all that I'm made of, because that's not it. So when we first moved out there to Cypress in 1968, beautiful projects. You couldn't walk on the grass. You couldn't ride the bike inside the projects. You know, we had our janitor, the guy that cleaned up the building, named Joe. I never forget him, white boy glasses, you know, but they really worked it back then. You know, when we first started moving in, you know, it took a little while, because it took him a minute. I think he didn't retire not until like maybe 72, 73, when all the whites like basically was moving out. And he used to, you know, call us pigs, you know. I don't know, was it then? I don't, because I know, shout out to my man Freddie, Yvonne, and their sister Yvette, that's the Earth Now, Peaceful out there. They moved out to Ice Central, Ice Slip, whatever, Long Island, but Olympia, they moved into their apartment, you know, and that's when all the peeing on the elevator, you know, shout out to my OG Limpy, you know what I'm saying? He was nice with his hands, all that, you know, had real small feet. But anyway, those was all the cats that was in and out of Rackers, and, you know, the dudes that put the heart into me. But Joe used to be, y'all all pigs, this, that, and the third. Back in them times, and I was looking for, because I be watching Hassan, Doggy, Charleston, you know what I'm saying, Matt. I be watching everybody, and I'm not just speaking about the big channels, because I watch whoever, you know. Shout out to my man, Terrence Gangster, before I got ready to get on this. The paperwork thing is going down, but, you know, I'll speak on all those issues in a whole nother video. But anyway, shout out if you was a snitch, a cooperator, a CI, or whatever. And, I don't condone that at no time, no circumstances, whatever. And all circumstances is different. But at the end of the day, out of that, if you made it back home and you came home and you're doing the civilian thing, and most importantly, I see that you really, because it's about this money up here on this YouTube. Of course it is. Everything I done learned this within a year, so I don't feel no way when I don't get no big numbers, no shout outs, because anything that you want to be successful in, you got to put the time and the effort into it. But anyway, like I said, I don't condone it, but it's different circumstances for different people. And however you make it back out here, if you make it back out here, please, my brothers, sisters, whoever, have something constructive for the youth. Let those, you know what I'm saying, degrees of destruction and mayhem and murder and just total shadows that we committed in our communities when we was doing what we was doing, that let them see the positive or the negative, and how the negative had to change into a positive because you either had to do a bunch of time in jail or you ended up dead. I'm one of the fortunate that, and I still paid my dues in little bits and pieces. So just as much as there's rewards in the game, there's always going to be consequences. And that's the part y'all got to be willing to live with and abide by. So if you're in the game, and if you run around being a stick-up kid and this, that, and the third, and murdering and all that, yo, deal with that. But always understand, like my man Glaze said, at the end of the day, you won't have to deal with none of that if you don't get involved with that. And that's what we here for. We here for prevention. We're not here for the cure. Because a lot of y'all, we can't cure y'all. No matter how many of these war stories, no matter how bad they tell you it was in prison, no matter how much, when I listen to my man Unique Mecca shout out, he talk about, another one of my A-lites that I got history with, that I'll talk about People's Affair with Shaw Law later on down the line. You know what I'm saying? But he let me know how that ADX was and how them big, and I know, because I done seen, them crackers from up in the mountain, the Orange Crush. Everybody 6'5", 6'4", 250, 60, 280, you know what I'm saying, gooned out. And they coming to break you down. And if it's a riot, don't go trying to hide in your cell. You might get out there and get busy out the gate. They'll respect you getting your head cracked than for you to go run and try and hide from the tear gas and all that crazy shit. And now you want to hide underneath your bed, because if they got to pull you out of there, they going to give you a police ass whooping like you never felt before in your life. So at the end of the day, if you don't want to be a snitch under any circumstances, then don't get involved. Okay? So, once we got out there in 1968, the Cypress Hills, it was few of us blacks. And that's why we had so much unity. During those times, like I listened to Hassan Campbell, I was trying to find that piece, and I might find it before I put this up, where he was talking about how in the projects, how we need to, start pooling our money together you know, and making nice spots with salons and bars and growing fruits and vegetables and all those different things, and saying how, you know, each projects could get together with the youth and they could have, you know, different type of battles with, you know, how good their garden is or whatever. And guess what, Hassan? You was 100% right and exact. And I'm going to show you how you was 100% right and exact. I'm getting ready to tell y'all something about New York City Housing Authority that none of y'all cats know. Not unless y'all come out of those era of time like we did. So it's our job to get y'all the real history. Anyway, back then when I moved out there, we had Cypress Hill Community Center. The community center was really a community center because it brought all of us together in the community. And then back then, most of the ones that ended up starting to go consistently to the community center was most of the blacks. Because back then, the community centers, you know, was made where they had daycare. And for the summer, your mother could pay $50 and you in summer daycare camp for the whole summer. And then they had the BAL, the Boys Athletic League. I'm going to show you in there where I went away to sleepaway camp, Camp Arenda, for years. Learned how to fish, learned how to swim, learned how to walk the Chickagami Trail up there by West Point. You know, how to be able to tell on the trees how you could follow those trails or Clark and the other explorer cat. How to take bark, you know, when you in the wilderness and use it to make fire. How we make little teepees with the little twigs and they stick the bark in there and hit the rocks and make fire. Arts and craft. Boxing. All these different things. We was inner city kids. So you either had that or you had the fresh air fund. How many of us kids didn't go? I know Alpo went. I see pictures with him up there with white families and everything for the summertime. So not only was back in the 60s when I got to Cypress, it was white people that was still the majority in those projects there in pink houses. They had all of these programs set up in the community, at the community center. And guess what we did? We had circuses. How you think I first learned about Castle Hill? Soundview, Thorns Neck, Marlboro Projects, Seaview Projects. I don't even know if we ever went out to Baisley or any of those to do that. But back then, they used to have circuses. And in the circus, we used to go around to each other's projects and have the circus. Yeah, riding the three-seater bike, the clowns, juggling. We had all that. Baseball, hockey. All those things was going on in the 60s leading up to the 70s.